your dreams trying to tell you something? Author M.B. Mosley teaches you how to decode your dreams and take hold of the manifestations that lay in wait for you in the waking realm. Now, broadcasting all over the world, it's the Dream Interpretation Podcast.
All right. DZIP, hashtag DZIP, the Dream Zone Interpretation Podcast, folks. You can find me at askmemory2019 at gmail.com. And if you are looking for copies of my books, those are found at www.oneWordMemoryBengesa.org. And we're going to get right into our disclaimer. And folks, this podcast is being streamed all over the world, namely on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart, as well as plenty of podcast outlets as well as being streamed directly to YouTube. So if you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and share the video. And folks, go ahead and download the streamings of the podcast. And folks, before we get ready to get into the Dream Zone interpretation, of course, we have to do some disclaimers, understanding that I am here to teach you on how to decode your dreams, and understanding that dreams are not a one size fits all. And that means that's the importance of understanding on how and why you should decode your own dreams. And I am here to guide and teach you on that journey so that you can understand the messages. How Jung believed that dreams are the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Here I teach you to decode your dreams, the messages from the unconscious, in which I call the spiritual dream realm. It's always nice to know some things, right? If there's any messages out there or warnings, right? Alrighty, and thank you so much for joining me here. Let's get ready to start the show. What I need you to do for me, folks, is taking a deep breath in real quick. Breathe out. Are you ready? Are you ready for a dream interpretation? All right, family. Show starts exactly in 5 minutes. Once we pass the disclaimers on the wonderful clips there, exactly in 5 minutes, go grab some popcorn, a drink, a beverage, and or get relaxed, and let's get into this dream interpretation. Fun fact time, guys. Do you know a young lady by the name of Marie Holmes? Ring a bell? All right. February 2015, Marie Holmes, a young lady out of the Carolinas, won an estimated Powerball of $188 million. So on my YouTube channel right now, the name of the YouTube channel is Girl Behind the Mic, MIC. I'm going to post some fun facts under the playlist for the Dream Zone interpretation. And over there, you can also communicate with me in the comments section, subscribe, and be sure to share the Dream Interpretation podcasts that are uploaded there. And I'm also going to make it a point to note these fun facts and dreams that have manifested and all this awesome stuff as it pertains to the dream realm. But I'm excited to tell you about Marie Holmes. This is totally fun fact, right? So get this, check this out. Marie Holmes goes and plays the Powerball and wins a whopping $188 million. Do you know how she attained that win? Dun, 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 dun. All right, so Marie Holmes' mother had a dream about her deceased son, and she then took that dream and took the son's date of birth. And I want to say she will tell you the rest of the information in this small clip that first aired on OWN back in about 2016. And this is from Ian Levin's show, and it's a clip from the OWN network. But check it out. Marie Holmes' mother will tell you in her own words how she got those numbers that won Marie Holmes the $188 million. I like to just include these fun facts, guys. Come on. Decode the dreams. Come on. And now I'm not saying that we're all going to win the Powerball, but what is the messages that are what are the messages trying to come through from the spiritual realm? Don't miss out. All right. So listen to Marie Holmes' mother in her own words.
Tell her how she won the lottery. Tell her.
I kept dreaming about your brother that we lost. His birthday, he was the third child. He would have been 25 that year. And those were the numbers.
All right, family. So excited. I hope that this message here today finds you well. How's everyone doing? Mental check-in. How's your mind? How's your heart? How's your soul? Most importantly, how's spirit doing? Yes, I'm just lighting up my Palo Santo. All right, let's get that going. Yes. All right, guys. So today, I always say I won't be before you long most times, and then she is long-winded. All right, zip baby zip, DZIP, hashtag the Dream Zone Interpretation Podcast with your host, author, MB Mosley. Guys, so I wanted to come before you today to talk about something that was really, really interesting, right? I was on a panel, and so did a couple of, not a couple, but assisted in some questions of dream decoding. And the ongoing theme was some repetitive assistance with dream decoding on this panel. And I thought, you know what, let's talk about this. Now, I may have put this in a podcast and mentioned about it, but I think I did. What I know for sure, I didn't go in depth. Let's look at the symbolic meaning itself on repetitive or reoccurring dreams, right? And so it was about two people that had reoccurring dreams. Actually, three. It was three. Interestingly enough, both were two other people. It was in their childhood and so forth. But there's one that resonates with me that I remember well out of the three, right? And so this individual said that, I believe when they were about 11 years old, they kept having this dream where now, remember, this is not verbatim. I'm just recalling what the individual had said to me. And so what they say to me. And so they say they recall around when they were about 11 years old or so that they had this reoccurring dream where they had a twin. They had their twin, a twin of themselves. And in this dream, they kept falling. Or they were letting go and the twin kept falling. I believe they said out of a building or off a building, but there was falling happening, and it always was a twin of them as an individual. So of course, naturally, you want to ask, do you have any natural twins? And no, they do not have any twins. So what I wanted to highlight today's theme, right? We all know that dreams are not a one size fits all. Today, we're going to do what I call a basic touch up on what reoccurring dreams can symbolize in one's life. And from most incidences with reoccurring dreams, people, and I'm gonna speak from my experience, in most incidences from reoccurring dreams, sometimes they're not so pleasant, right? Sometimes, and some people may even have the nightmarish kind of reoccurring dreams, or the dreams that freak you out and you keep going back there. So one of the things that you want to dig deep down inside, remember, you're going to use your worksheet. I have those worksheets at the website, memorybengesa.org, right? So you want to wake up to your energy. What is your energy? What was the energy in that dream, to get into depth of that reoccurring dream? But let's talk about reoccurring itself. So reoccurring means happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? And in this person's incidents, it had happened about, I believe they say 3 or 4 times, but it was reoccurring. And so at that time when I was asking this person, I said, okay, we eliminated a natural twin, right? Because you want to make sure you are covering all bases here. And I'm so excited to get to where we're going, but we're going to take baby steps because there's a whole bunch of stuff that is, also surfaced in terms of dreams and universes and so forth. But listen, traveling and whatnot. But listen, so we're not going to go there. Not today. Let's just put a pin on that, right? Let's put a pin on that. We're taking baby steps as we decode. So past lives and so forth is what I'm really talking about. So he said, no natural twin. So in this reoccurring dream, they're dreaming of the feeling. Of course, it's not a good feeling when, I believe they say they kept letting go of the twin, or the twin kept falling each time, and it would end like that. The twin kept falling. And so I said perhaps, so now when when a reoccurring dream happens, it's way of the spirit realm to get your message. It's kind of like getting that tap on the back continually, right? Turn around. turn around. Somebody keeps tapping you behind saying, hey, they want your attention. So reoccurring dream, basic meaning for reoccurring in the spiritual dream realm can represent that it needs attention. Spirit wants you to pay attention. There's a message trying to come through, and you need to pay attention to that message. Whatever that dream is, you need to figure it out. You need to decode that dream. And most times you can move forward. Most times, okay? Like I say, because it all depends. It depends what it is, how it is, when it is, who it is, and all that lovely stuff. But most times you could go past the reoccurring dreams once you confront the situation, because the spiritual dream realm is calling for your attention, right? We in our spiritual dream realm, in our unconscious state, we're receiving messages from the spiritual dream realm, messages, signs, warnings, and so forth. So something there is wanting to come through. And so once again, like I said, it's not a perfect cookie cutter, but most times reoccurring dreams you could pass over reoccurring dreams when you address the issue of the reoccurring dream. In as far as this individual was concerned, when I was speaking to this individual, I said, could it be that you all know I'm not here on the psychic stuff. I'm not, but I'm here to help you decode your dreams. You're the only person that knows where you are in that moment spiritually, emotionally, and your alignment and so forth. But to help this individual, I was asking them, I said, and like I said, this is recalling from what they said at that time. I was writing my notes on my worksheet, actually, my interpretation worksheet, as they were telling it to me. And I said to this individual, were you running away from something? Was there something, another reflection? Because a twin is a reflection. An identical twin is a reflection. You don't have a natural twin. So you're looking yourself back at yourself. So is there a reflection of yourself, something about yourself that you maybe are hiding, that perhaps you don't want to surface? Perhaps at this time, maybe Spirit is trying to help you with that part of yourself, because looking at an identical twin of yourself is bringing notice to something about yourself. And so, I was just, because it's a dream interpretation, I'm throwing this out there to this individual. I'm not looking, because it was a platform and there were people around. So, don't want to put people in tough spots of yes or no or whatever. But the individual just came forward and said, oh my God, okay. So it was something, well, they didn't say, oh my God, because, oh my God is me. But they said, you know what, there is something. When I was younger, they say they suffered from, not suffered, but they stuttered. And they were kind of they stuttered. It was a part of them that were hiding themselves, if that makes sense. And a part of them, not necessarily he didn't like, but it was just a part of him that he was keeping away from the world. So there we go. Boom. So, he stopped having the reoccurring dreams, and I believe it's when he came to himself and so forth, grew into who he was as an individual. So that's on the surface, right? Without getting too deep. But the theme of today's conversation is reoccurring dreams. And what do reoccurring dreams mean? Now, remember, I'll say this to you. You take an inventory of soul. You take an inventory of your spiritual status. Where are you when you're having this reoccurring dream? What is Spirit trying to tell you? What is the message? What are the messages that are trying to come through? And then I had an individual in that same panel and on that platform. They had a reoccurring dream that involved a bridge. One of those technical name flees me right now. I'm pretty sure there's a technical name to it, but the ones that that have the ability to open up. Somebody knows. So one of those dreams, and this person had this reoccurring dream of that bridge opening up in the car, and they said every time they made it on that bridge, it would open up and the car would get, I guess, fall down. So they never made it across that bridge. And this individual, and this was they mentioned that they would also have it was about their old neighborhood, something about seeing their old neighborhood and so forth. So this reoccurring dream was pretty interesting, right? Because then, like when I was writing it down, it had elements of the old neighborhood trying to cross over a bridge. The bridge keeps opening and they keep getting looped back to that bridge and the car falling from the bridge opening. And so, one of those things you do again, you're like, what is a car? A car is a vehicle, and you want to get deep in it. What color is the car? Who's in the car? Are you the driver? What's going on? And also checking your spiritual energy as well. And just, because vaguely, like I said, because of that time, I don't know your spiritual journey. I'm not sure where you are, but on the surface with those, like I told them, reoccurring dreams like that, on the surface, right? We will look at what does a bridge do? A bridge crosses you from one point to the other. Maybe the spiritual realm is trying to relay messages, because reoccurring dreams not only want you to pay attention, but sometimes perhaps there could be issues in your life that may not be resolved, right? Or maybe conflicts maybe that need to be taken care of, or a place that you're stuck at that the spiritual dream realm is wanting you to move forward from. So they had mentioned their old neighborhood. Now remember, from one of the dream zone interpretations of, I want to say perhaps the past or so, where anytime you dream of the past, that's bringing you back. Anytime you dream of old neighborhoods, old schools, and so forth, that means you're dreaming of your past. Maybe there's something there in your past that needs to be emotionally reconciled and or physically reconciled. So remember, reoccurring is bringing awareness. It's awareness. Something here needs to attention needs to be done. So this person no longer lived in that old neighborhood. They kept trying to cross this bridge and was unable. So perhaps in their life, was it the fact that something was still attached emotionally to the old neighborhood, and perhaps the spiritual realm was wanting them to cross over, to move their life into the new direction, because now they had moved away. They were no longer in that city. They were living in another city. Perhaps Spirit is saying it's okay now to, take a hold of your new dwelling area and leave the past in the past. Or maybe there's some past reconciliations that need to be done, or maybe past conflicts and or confrontations or emotionally, right, that needs to be confronted and perhaps find an ending to that. So remember, when you are dreaming of your old school, your old house, your old anything in your past, Spirit is trying to communicate to you, or the spiritual realm is trying to communicate to you to look to that, right, and find closure in that, right? So it's only up to you to understand during your spiritual inventory check. So that's on the reoccurring part there. And so let's see here. The individual did mention that they had lost, because the city they had moved from, where the old house was, they in another state, in the COVID years, they lost a lot of close people, so perhaps your emotions are still there, rightfully so. Because that was a painful moment. So there's a lot. Just pay attention to reoccurring dreams. They're definitely trying to talk to you. They're definitely trying to talk to you for your waking life, definitely trying to communicate with you. And it's all about really getting everything down. I have all kinds of wonderful materials. If it's your first time here to this podcast, welcome. Check my other podcasts where we really start off on the first podcast, really breaking things down slowly. So you could kind of get the concept of breaking down the colors of the car, what are you wearing? What is your energy? And all the good stuff that will give you a close to specific dream interpretation, right? Because you're learning how to decode and grab those messages from the spiritual dream realm. So let's see here. I'm trying to think. So we touched on reoccurring dreams. We touched on a few of those reoccurring dreams on the surface. And remember, guys, again, it's not a cookie cutter process, but once you once you pay attention to the reoccurring dream and or lean into that reoccurring dream, sometimes they will stop, right? Sometimes they will stop. And or once you confront that reoccurring dream, sometimes those reoccurring dreams will stop. Just know that in the back of your mind, most times that reoccurring dreams are wanting you to pay attention to the messaging. There's something there that needs to be addressed, whether it's emotionally, physically, right? And or situations that need to be addressed emotionally and or physically. So just pay attention to that. And so there was another interesting part on this panel as well, where the individual did mention that they also were having reoccurring dreams where they kept seeing, wow, this one was, like I said, they could, sometimes recurring dreams could be kind of nightmarish. But don't be afraid of that, okay? Because it may seem nightmarish to you, but once again, if it keeps reoccurring, happening over and over again, then the spiritual dream realm is definitely trying to communicate to you. Lean into that and get a decoding of that to understand so that you could move forward. So this individual said that they were having a reoccurring dream where every time they dreamt, they were in like a jail cell, and every single time, and then they'll, come out of their come out of their sleep, and of course they're in their own element. But every time that reoccurring, they go into sleep, they're reoccurring back in the jail cell, and because it's so nightmarish, no one wants to dream about being locked up, confined, period. And so, once again, reoccurring dreams want to and they're seeking you. They're wanting you to pay attention to that. So for that part, what do we have? We have a jail element. And at that time, there was a lot of conversation happening. I didn't get to really probe, but some of the things that I would have wanted to know, also would have been what was the energies when that person, of course, it was kind of that they would say it was freaky, but I would have wanted to know in-depth internal energies from their soul. And I definitely would have wanted to know what their thought is about. Nobody wants to be locked up or in prison or confined, but what is the thought? Does it give you nightmares? Are you terrified like I am for someone to take away my freedoms and I just I cannot move? So that could represent something else. Fear. That for me, that would represent definitely fear. Perhaps it's something in my life that I'm fearful of, and I need to cross over that, confront that emotionally, whatever that may be that I'm fearing. So you see what I'm saying? What does, obviously, like I said, prison, jail is not like it's not a vacation. College. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a vacation. So what are your sentiments about it? If it's neutral, like, yeah, whatever, man. Prison, nobody wants to be in it, but I don't care. But for me, like I said, I'm kind of fearful. I don't want to ever end up in that predicament where my freedoms are taken away. And so I not even forgot, but the conversation was happening, so I didn't really probe there. So you want to dig into stuff like that. But on the surface with that, we could look again. It's reoccurring. So there's something there, and it keeps that person in the loop. What are you confined to, perhaps mentally? You know that sometimes we can mentally confine ourselves to things, right? If we gravitate and hold on to stuff. And that's where the emotional part comes in. So perhaps is there an emotional bondage that you're holding on to? And bondage is a very strong word, but you understand what I'm saying? So let's say an example that I could, let's see here. Something that perhaps may be not permitting the individual to move forward emotionally. So now they're in captivity, because that's what prison or jail is, right? You're kind of in captivity. Can't move forward, left, right, backwards. You are confined. So something there was confining them, and it perhaps it's not emotional. Perhaps it's something physical, right? There's so many examples. Perhaps you feel you're stuck at this job, and you just feel so stuck and nowhere to go, and Spirit is saying, remember, just go, to try something new, try something different. It's okay to go. Perhaps they're fearful of that. So, and maybe that's analogous to the dream. So remember, you really got to really dig deep and find the symbolisms in all of these dreams, because once again, like I said, the conversations were hot and awesome, and I didn't probe enough. But at any given time, when you work on the sheet that I have produced on my website, it's free. You could just copy it, paste it however you want, and work on that sheet to decode your dreams. When you work on that, you're then going to go get into the depth, into the matters of the heart, to see what the messages are, because I really wasn't able to probe about that. But like I said, reoccurring is still one theme. They may be unresolved emotional issues, or not even issues, right? I don't like to use that word loosely, but there may be unresolved emotions. Once again, or physical parts of the physical, so it could be either or. Only you are able to make that determination, because you're the one that's aligned to your spirit. And by decoding that and understanding, what is this meaning? What am I holding on to put me in this prison? What is keeping my mind in this prison? If I'd had a dream like that when I was in my addictive days, that would have made sense to me, that I'm keeping myself in this loop with my addiction, and Spirit is saying it's time to move on, time to get strong, time to get strong. So you see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we know that we got to break down the symbolisms today. My main theme to you all was just reoccurring. That's why I'm not able to really get into depth with these. These were discussed on a panel vaguely while I wrote my little notes down as they told me, and we moved forward. But just the one with the jail prison part was not able to really probe because the conversation was getting really good, and then I was having a lot of questions and that needed to be answered, and so I was working on that as well and trying to get back to that. But the main theme for today is reoccurring. Okay, reoccurring dreams are calling you to pay attention to everything in that dream so you could perhaps move forward. Every single thing, emotionally and or physically. Remember that we are decoding messages from the spiritual dream realm for things that are yet to happen. Sometimes tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Nevertheless, these are messages that are coming to us to help us. Stay blessed.
For God speaks in one way and or in two, though man does not perceive it. He speaks in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men while they slumber on their beds. Happy dreaming.